Sounds like Jon Bones Jones is done. Do you think Jon Bones Jones is going to enter the cage again and fight again? Or do you think he ends up giving up the heavyweight title?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't really follow exactly really what's going on, but if he's holding it because it's a negotiation tactics, it could be fruitful for him, you know. But it's up to the UFC to see what they want to do. They need to take the decision if, you know, because now the young guys, young contenders are waiting. And when you're an athlete, you have a window. If you pass that window, not good. So I think it's on the UFC now to take the decision, give Jon Jones what he wants or move on, you know?
What would you do if you're in Tom Aspinall's shoes?
Yeah, Tom is a bad situation for him because he's stuck and he wants to be, you know, he wants to be champion. He's young and hungry. I understand. I think it's the UFC needs to do something. That the pressure needs to be on the UFC now.
In a recent interview, Georges St-Pierre didn't mince words. He called on the UFC to stop stalling and sort out the heavyweight division before Tom Aspinall's prime years are wasted.
A guy named Tom Aspinall, who every time I speak to him, he talks about you being his inspiration, you being his favorite fighter, you being the guy he wants to be like. He looks up to you with the utmost respect. I mean, I was just talking to him about you and he adores you. He's in a tough spot right now. I don't know how much you follow, but he's waiting for Jon Jones. Does he move on? He feels like his career is being halted by one man. What advice, if any, would you give to Tom Aspinall, who I think is very frustrated right now because he thinks he's the best, but there's a guy holding him up?
I think Tommy needs to focus on the next task. I remember when I lost to Matt Serra, I was making the mistake of trying to focus on Matt Serra to get my revenge immediately. But I had a few other fights lined up before to get that. And if he's only focusing on Jon Jones, and if Jon Jones does not come back right away, he's not focusing on the right thing. He needs to focus on what is next, the next path. Because the rest, it's a distraction, you know, and things that needs to be done will be done. You know, I don't know what Jon will do, but as a fan, I would love to see this fight. I mean, because in terms of legacy and accomplishment, Jon Jones is the best. You know what I mean? And I understand Tom from his point of view that he's a proud fighter. He wants to be the best, but now it's all depend on what Jon want to do. If Jon still want to do this, if he's compensated fairly, all that plays. So Tom should not focus on that because it's outside of his control, and he's wasting a lot of energy focusing on that. And I know it's very hard, but he needs to sort of self-hypnose himself to focus on the next thing and be hungry about the next task. And by doing this, only focusing on the next thing, he's going to build up his biggest, and perhaps one day he's going to be the great.
GSP made it clear Jon Jones isn't the only one at fault. While Jon may be using delay tactics to gain leverage, St-Pierre believes the real responsibility lies with the UFC. Their priority should be keeping the division moving, not catering to just one big name. As for Tom Aspinall, GSP had some wise words. Stay sharp, stay prepared, and don't get caught up in all the noise.
Who was your biggest influence growing up?
In terms of mixed martial arts, GSP. Before GSP came along, in my opinion, it was like bar fighters who were quite athletic, who did a bit of fighting in a cage. Whereas when GSP came along, it was like, that's how to be a professional MMA athlete, not just a guy who likes to have a fight.
Do you think you would have gotten into MMA if it wasn't for you?
If I would have gotten into it, I wouldn't have continued it if it weren't for my dad, that's for sure. So, no, absolutely no chance.
Do you ever watch your dad spar prime when you were a kid?
Yep, loads of times. So I guess he was an influence, an idol of mine, I guess, because I wanted to do what my dad's doing. I think a lot of kids do that anyway. Hopefully my kids want to do that. Maybe not do MMA, but hopefully they see the dedication that I put into their life. I want to do a bit of that.
Did you have any heavyweight idols?
Oh, loads. Main one, Cain Velasquez. I've seen his comments recently about me. That's all right. That's his opinion.
So I don't think he beats Jon. No.
Doesn't take away the fact that I love his fighting style.
According to GSP, if Tom Aspinall truly wants to take down a legend like Jon Jones, he has to block out all the Noise, no distractions from UFC politics or social media back and forth. The key, GSP said, is for Tom to double down on what sets him apart: his explosive speed, sharp fight IQ, and his elite ability to blend striking and grappling, something few heavyweights can match today.
What's the last 6 months training been then? Where you've been just in limbo? Have you been training to specifically fight Jones, or just been training?
No, I've just been. You know what? That's actually one of the positives that's come out of it is when you've got a fight, you're training for a guy, aren't you?
Yeah,
you're training for one guy. I've just been training to get better, which is great. Do you know what I mean? I've been like improving and that, and I'm someone who's in the gym constantly anyway. Like I'll train twice a day if I've got a fight or not. Obviously the intensity increases if I do have a fight soon.
When I seen you at that UFC London when Molly retired 3 weeks before my fight, lad.
We were on the burgers, weren't we? Me and Charlie.
Yeah, I'm sitting there with a bottle of water and just looking over at you with 2 pints. And burgers and them crisscross fries and that, and I'm just like,
yeah, it was great.
I was taking the bit of chicken out of the bowl.
I remember you was eating the meat,
I was eating the meat out of it because I was starving.
What does you? Because I'm like quite interested in nutrition. That like, what is your diet like
in camp?
Yeah, like do you have to be on like a massive deficit?
Not massive, but like I am in a deficit every day. As we go through camp, I'll start at like 2,500 calories. Then halfway through, I'll bring it down to like 2,250, and towards the end, I'm on like 2,000. But I'm burning like 3 to 4.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. If you're training intense, you're burning shitloads, aren't you?
There's nowhere to go for Johnny. He either has to fight me or retire now. If he does retire, everyone knows that he will have been avoiding me. I want to fight. Absolutely, I want to fight. If that's against Jon Jones or not, I'm just waiting on a date, man. Dana White's come out this week and said that Jon Jones is happy to do it. I've been in the rooms with the UFC and they've told me it's happening. I'm not chasing Jon Jones. The reason I want to fight Jon Jones is because he's got the belt. Number 1 heavyweight walking around the planet Earth. But we need to find out who the guy is. If it's not Jon Jones, get out of the way. I'll fight someone else. Happy days. Defending an interim again. That's not what the UFC is. That's not what the UFC is about. Like, I defended an interim once already. It's almost unheard of. That it's unprecedented. I thought it was silly the first time, to be honest. The reason that I did it, I wanted to redeem myself and fight Curtis Blades and get the legit victory against Curtis Blades. I wanted to prove that I was better than Blades, which I did in the rematch, and I defended the interim. I'm not doing it again. I've cleared out the rest of the division. Undisputed. And that's it. I deserve a shot at being known as the best heavyweight walking around on planet Earth.
Fans were all for it. GSP voiced what many have been thinking for a while. As the noise grows around Jon Jones potentially avoiding a fight with Tom Aspinall, GSP finally said what others have only been whispering behind the scenes.
But if he avoids Tom Aspinall like the plague and he continues down this line, it will absolutely affect his legacy because, and I don't care what he's done in the past, because it doesn't embody the spirit of a fighter. Fighters are supposed to go in there against big, nasty, mean, tough son of a bitches, okay? And not knowing if they're going to win. That's what inspires people. I hate to talk about myself, but I lost many fights along the way. I lost #1 contender matchups. Granted, a lot of them were on steroids.
All you motherfuckers are on steroids.
But I became the champion in the end. I never gave up on myself. And that's what people always tell me that they respect about my career, what they respect about other people's career, that they took on really tough fights. They tried their best and they scratched and clawed their way to the top. They did it in the end. And wow, take a bow. What a story. What a journey. For Jon Jones to walk away and go, oh, I don't fancy that. He's a bit nasty. He's got big hands. The man can wrestle. He's quick. He's fast. He's agile. Holy shit. I've never fought anyone like that. I'm living my best life, guys. I've made my money. I'm going to walk away. People will look at that and say, no, I'm sorry. That's not a real fighter. So he's got to accept the fight. And as I said, Tom Aspinall's moved on to Alexander Volkov, a man that he beat before, relatively easy, took him down nice and quick, straight armbar on the ground, absolute one-way traffic. And there's also Jailton Almeida. Now, Jailton Almeida, yes, he lost to Curtis Blades trying to take him down. He got elbowed in the head a few times, but he's learned from that. He's come back. He's got 2 quick wins, 2 stoppages. The man is a force of nature. He's an absolute wrestling maniac. He's short, he's stocky, he's strong as an ox. He's only got 1 loss on his record, and I think he would pose some problems for Tom Aspinall. Of course, Tom might take him down, but I think on the feet he's taller, he's longer, he's quicker, and he cracks very hard. So regardless, I would favour Tom in both of those matchups, but just the fact that he has mentally moved on, and we're waiting for this announcement. I mean, we don't know what it is yet, but we're waiting. Something's going to happen soon, but the fact that he's talking about other people, it doesn't bode well for that fight.
Tom Aspinall's the guy. He's the guy.
Dana White says I'm his man. We love that. We love that on the channel.
And what about Francis Ngannou? You having him? You want some?
The day that I start ducking out of fights and turning opponents down and stuff like that is the day that I'm going to retire. So As I've always said, and you can ask any promoter I've ever worked with, any guys at the UFC, I'll fight anyone, I'll fight anytime, and I'll fight anywhere. Never turn down a fight in my life, never will. The day that I start thinking about turning down fights is the day that I'll retire. So to answer the question, whoever they want me to fight is who I'm going to fight.
It's not about you, Jon. It's not about you. It's not about your life. It's not about your story. If you want to enjoy your life, if you want to be a part of a reality show, if you want to take that money and delay things and hold someone else's dreams back from becoming a reality, that is ducking. That is ducking, because there is a time-honored tradition in this business, in the sport, in combat sports, in fight sports, in sports period, that the whole thing has to move along. It's not about your story. Your story is great and you're living your best life, great. Get rid of that belt. If you want to do that, great. No one will begrudge you. Everyone thinks you've done enough. You've earned enough. You've proven enough. Now allow someone else to have that same story. Allow someone else to write that same story. You are holding him back. You are holding back not only Tom Aspinall, but the rest of the division. So yes, you're missing the point. This isn't about you. It's about the belt. How many more times does Tom have to say it? He would love to fight him. He would love to be he would love to have the opportunity to be that guy. He would love it. Who wouldn't? But he just wants that belt. He wants whatever that belt signifies, whatever it symbolizes, and what it brings. It brings all the things that Jon Jones is enjoying right now, because if Jon Jones wasn't the most decorated champion, wasn't the greatest light heavyweight champion, wasn't the 2-division champion, he wouldn't be doing things like this. He wouldn't get opportunities like this. He wouldn't get the opportunity to live his best life. And now you are stopping someone else from living their best life. Do you get the difference? It's not about you. And so when the legends fought you, and I'm not even talking about when you were champ or tried to become champ, I'm talking about the dudes that fought you on the way up. Important thing in this sport is the belt. The most important thing to the UFC is the belt. That's what everything gears towards. And they have told us they hate when people vacate the title or don't want to defend the title. Well, that's what's happening right now. So tell me where I've been unfair. Tell me where I've lied. Tell me where I've been biased. I saw some people saying yesterday, like, oh, he just defended the title. All right. Are we going to wait till November to strip him? The fight that they want to book is for November. It's for MSG. If he doesn't want to fight today for November, it's time to move on.
When you're an interim champion, they only make an interim champion when the champion cannot defend the belt. So for Jon Jones, he couldn't defend the belt because he tore his pec muscle. So the interim champion means he should be fighting the champion right off the bat. That's not the case with Jon Jones, right? Because Jon Jones is going to fight Stipe Miocic. So the interim champion is supposed to sit there and wait. But by law, in like the regulations, once Jon Jones steps in the cage, he is stripped of his interim champion because the champion has returned. There is no longer for interim champion. What is the point of having interim champion when the champion is ready to fight?
This is the only sport in the world you can have somebody hold your career back.
Yep. I've been almost a year inactive with no prospects of anything. Just be ready, and we'll just let you know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of difficult, like mentally, to.
Oh yeah.
This is the fight against Jon Jones. Like, not the fight is another thing.
Yeah.
This is the tricky bit where I really have to stay switched on, stay motivated, and. I'm trying my best. Trying. It's tough. As you said a minute ago, no one really knows what's going on behind the scenes apart from me.
Exactly. You're in the office cooking.
I train all the time anyway. Just because I've not got a fight doesn't mean I don't train. Like, I honestly can see Jon's point of view. I get it. I get it. It's just about the title for me. I just want the title. That's it. Does nothing else really matters. So
you're like, let me do my thing. Let me fight.
I just want to fight.
And I think that's the respectful way to go about it. It's like, you don't care if it's Jon, and it's no disrespect to Jon. It's no disrespect to anybody out there. You're just trying to fight. I just want to fight.
Many believe the UFC should have either stripped Jon Jones of the title or made this fight happen long ago. Instead, the belt remains untouched, while Tom Aspinall prepares for multiple potential opponents. The rest of the heavyweight division is left waiting in limbo. But Aspinall isn't sitting still. He's made it clear he's staying ready. Whether it's for Jailton Almeida, Sergey Pavlovich, or possibly Cyril Gann, if the UFC needs a headliner for the Paris card this September.
Aspinall, do you feel like because everyone in your division seems to be just talking about Jon and Tom, that you were being unfairly forgotten as one of the best in the world at your weight?
Yeah, that's okay. I'm okay with this situation. You see, like, for the moment, I'm just focused on Volkov. And after, yeah, we're going to talk maybe if I win this Saturday, me, Tom, what's going to happen. But for the moment, I got no ego. I don't.
Yeah. I understand you don't want to talk about it. Do you believe that maybe outside of Jon Jones, you versus Tom is probably the biggest fight in this division?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably.
Do you view Tom Aspinall as the actual heavyweight champion, or do you still think it's Jon Jones?
In my opinion, Tom more deserves the champion belt in heavyweight than Jon Jones. I can say Jon Jones is a bad fighter, or he can't beat Tom Aspinall, but the way Tom Aspinall takes this belt in heavyweight, Tom Aspinall deserves it more.
The interim light heavyweight champion, the man that's held the interim strap longer than anyone else, almost as long as Jon Jones has been the heavyweight champ, he's moved on. Mentally, he is now training for Alexander Volkov or Jailton Almeida, right? I don't know what to make of this. You don't know what to make of this. Jon Jones living his best life, not being upfront about what his intentions are. Will he fight? Won't he fight? Listen, defend or vacate. Simple as that. And everyone's had enough of it. Got to defend the belt or vacate. Simple as that. You can't just hang on to it for an elongated period of time and then just decide to fight whenever you want. No, you owe a duty to the fans, to the opponents, to the division. You owe it to yourself. And I tell you what, he doesn't want to give Tom a chance because he's worried about getting beaten, okay? Never mind that. Legacy's not like that. People will look at Jon Jones and say, yeah, he was a tremendous champion. And if he goes out there against Tom Aspinall, a new generation guy, and was to give it his best shot, and he was to lose, but he still had the balls to put it on the line, which, by the way, is what every single fighter does when they step in the octagon. We all take chances. We don't know. We aren't guaranteed to win these fights. But if he was to do that, and he was to lose in a valiant effort, people would say, well, you know, he's a bit older. Tom Aspinall came through, but look at the career that he had. Unbelievable. One of the greatest of all time, right?
What I'm about to ask you, you're not going to say is the beauty of what we do, because I know you're sick of the question. Does Jon Jones not want to fight, or does Jon Jones just not want to fight Tom Aspinall?
Listen, Jon Jones has been an interesting human being to deal with since the day he got here. But I will say this about him. You would never hear me out, talking about he's the GOAT, he's the this, and he's the that if Jon Jones didn't want to fight people. Jon Jones has never, ever said, I'm afraid to fight this guy, or I don't like this fight for me, or any of that stuff.
So if, for instance, he doesn't fight this guy, who would you like to see him fight? Or are you going to wait until he fights this guy?
I don't know. We'll see how this thing plays out over the next couple weeks. But yeah, if we can't get this fight done, we'll move on quickly.
But let's be honest. Everyone knows the real fight fans want is Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones. And with every month that passes without it, the UFC risks letting its next heavyweight superstar fade before reaching his full potential. GSP captured it perfectly. If Tom stays focused, sticks to his strengths, and finally gets the opportunity he's earned, GSP truly believes he has what it takes to dethrone Jon Jones.
I see quite a few people here calling me a duck. I'm a duck. Call me a duck. Call me a chicken. Call me a goat. Call me a dog. I'm not in high school anymore, guys. A grown man out here chasing his dreams. It's funny that we really live in a world where being called a duck should affect me. Guys, come on.
Okay, so I feel like the narratives have been created that just truly aren't there. You can't duck a man that you were never scheduled to fight. It's like saying you got turned down by a girl who you never even hit up. You know what I'm saying? It's like me and Dana and Hunter have never sat down and talked about Tom Aspinall. He's never been on my radar. I mean, just a moment ago, it was from Sergey that was fighting. And Sergey could be in this position right now, and I would still be in the same place. I've beat people my whole career, and once I beat them, like the show just goes on. I get that Tom is an exciting fighter. I get that finally, after 16 years, we found somebody who's 7 years younger than me, 30 pounds bigger than me. Like, we finally found someone who may give me a great challenge. And everyone wants to see it so bad, but for me, it's like, what is it? What's in it for me? He changes nothing if I beat him.
And of course, it's been pretty interesting, all the stuff that Jon Jones has been saying to the media this week, and I'm sure there's more to come, but check out these.
You're beating guys who aren't even champions, and you
consider yourself a champion. He's not a champion.
So Jon said I need to fight more champions, but this is the problem I've got. Jon is the champion and he won't fight me. And he says that he won't fight me because it's too much of a gamble.
Aspinall to me is no difference than an Owen St. Prude or Dominic Reyes or Anthony Smith, be like just another up and comer that's exciting right now. And I'm not into gambling my legacy for what's exciting.
And Jon, if you're not into gambling your legacy, that to me sounds like you're scared of losing against me.
Jon Jones's demands of money for the Tom Aspinall fight were met by the UFC. They gave him what he was looking for and he still said no. So he just doesn't want to fight Tom. They literally, according to Ariel, who hates the UFC and would not make this up to make them look better, according to Ariel, they actually gave Jon Jones FU money that he was looking for and he still turned down Tom Aspinall. So it's not about money. It's not about anything. He just wants nothing to do with Tom. Very interesting from Jon Jones. Now, everyone is unanimously in agreement about this, so we see a few comments here. But the problem is there's still a lot of people and a lot of people that are always going to be talking about Jones and not accepting what should happen here. Logic should dictate that Tom Aspinall should fight Jon Jones. And you see by these comments, that's cool and all, but I thought Dana made it clear we wouldn't do business again with Francis. He won't. Dana is not going to accept this. Ngannou coming back to the UFC. The UFC could consider it, but again, he's got one more fight on his contract at PFL, and that just can't be dealt with in any other way other than him actually fighting out that contract. None of it matters if Jones still has the belt. It's just another guy waiting to fight. I know it'll just be another guy in the logjam in the heavyweight division, but maybe the UFC could use this against Jon to say, listen, we can move on from you. But I don't know. They aren't. They're just going to let him ruin. We are genuinely going years without a heavyweight fight in the UFC because Jon Jones is just allowed to do that. We have never seen this before in the history of the sport. This is fucking insane.
Just look at the language Jones has been using from day one about Tom Aspinall. Why would I gamble my legacy on someone like him? Jon Jones, gamble. You win every fight, don't you? You're guaranteed to win every fight. You can beat anyone. Every fight, if you're the best fighting the best, is a bit of a gamble. But you're the heavyweight champion of the world. You're supposed to go on and do that. I've never ever known a champion who tells everyone how great they are and yet doesn't want to fight the best challenger. I tell a lie. Actually, I do remember one time, Tyson Fury, when he did not want to fight Alexander Usyk. Oh, he's not a big enough name. Oh, and he made all the excuses in the world. And guess what? Usyk beat him twice. And this is exactly why Jon Jones doesn't want to take that fight, because he can see what the fuck is on the way. Jones spent the majority of his career as a heavyweight, boiling down to light heavyweight, beating guys who are actually middleweight.
Who's next big heavyweight star?
Tom Aspinall, the guy who just won the interim title. He's phenomenal, and he is again the next the next advancement of the evolution of the sport.
How so?
Well, because he can do everything. That guy's got elite jiu-jitsu. He's got elite takedowns. His striking is outstanding. Like, I've seen a lot of heavyweight, even Francis, who's like the greatest, scariest power striker I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. No one's scarier than Francis. Francis does not move like Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is significantly faster than every other heavyweight. That's a real problem because he's a heavyweight and he's a big guy, a really big guy, but he moves so fast. And so his speed has always been like extraordinary compared to other heavyweights. Like, he just fucking moves in. It's all like fast, explosive movements. So he's got natural speed, but then he's also got a lot of training to execute quickly. So when he moves in, he closes the gap. You can see like he's fast for a big guy.
Right.
I want to see it so bad.
John was shitting all over Aspinall, saying that
I think that's a bad way to go.
He was lucky that he blew his knee out with Curtis Blades because Curtis was teeing off
Doing
on him.
well.
Unless John avoided him, unless John used his wrestling to avoid exchanges.
It won't be an easy road. But if anyone understands what it takes to conquer greatness, it's GSP. His advice to Tom Aspinall was clear. Forget the drama, focus on building a legacy. Now the spotlight is back on the UFC. Will they finally take action, either push Jon Jones into the octagon or officially pass the torch? One thing's for sure, Tom's done waiting. He's not pleading for a shot, he's prepared to prove. why so many legends believe he's the future of the heavyweight division.